Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Easter Sunday Mass. Let's start off with a hymn of welcome, number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Thank you, Jerry.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Good morning and happy Easter. My name is Allie Hafner and I'm a member of our Board of Trustees, and I'm also the board's liaison to our religious education ministry team. My husband Rob and our two children, who are now teenagers, have been involved with this congregation for nearly 10 years now. And I am very pleased to welcome you to this virtual service of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Danbury. We're so happy that each one of you is able to join us this morning. Together, in community, we can ensure that social distancing does not mean social disengagement. Our weekly services are more than a gathering of our physical bodies. They are a sacred time that we make together. Whether you are well-versed in the technology of teleconferencing or this is your first venture, we welcome you. Whatever the faith or traditions of your past, whatever your theological stance, whatever your heritage, whoever you are and whomever you love, we welcome you. We invite you to learn more about our congregation on our website and Facebook page. We encourage you to share our Facebook page and reach out to others who may be isolated at this time and might benefit from this spiritual and social connection, which would usually be available by walking through our open doors every Sunday. We also have some particularly exciting news to share this morning. We've expanded our Zoom room capacity to 300 guests. So we encourage everyone to share the Sunday service link with family and friends and invite them to join us. The link for each Sunday service is sent the morning of the service. And we invite everyone who's watching live today to remain in the Zoom room following the service for our virtual fellowship time. You'll remain muted and we'll use the Zoom chat feature. So you'll see instructions for that on your screen as the service comes to a close today. And we have two announcements today, or two additional announcements today. So first, because of the holiday, we're not having our religious education Zoom sessions today for pre-K through 8th grade. The senior high youth group will still meet on Zoom at 5 p.m. today for those who are available. And we'll be back into religious education via Zoom next week. Our next announcement, very exciting, we are calling all musicians who may be interested in volunteering from the congregation to share their vocal and/or instrumental talents for an upcoming Sunday service, or maybe even a virtual cabaret or virtual coffee house. So if you are interested, we know that we have a lot of talent in our congregation and we all love to hear you. Please contact Jerry at musicdirector@uudanbury.org. So his email is up on the screen for those who are on Zoom. And finally, we're going to move on to our reminder, our weekly reminder of the Zoom guidelines. So since we are virtual and we're joining this way and we have lots of folks on, everybody's line is muted and we'll just focus on who is speaking one at a time. You actually have tools in your own screen where you can kind of customize what you're seeing on your view. So there's a speaker view or a gallery view. And if you change to gallery view, you can see faces of our congregants and speakers. And you may need to scroll along because we have so many faces, so many guests and congregants on today. So you can scroll through and see who's here. And at different times, we'll have text on the screen as we do now, or we might just have a video of the speaker. If you have any technical questions during the service, if you can chat to Sherry, there's actually a private feature in the chat feature on Zoom. And so you don't have to chat to everybody with your technical questions, just find Sherry and chat to her. And then if you have any feedback on the actual process or ideas for improvement of our virtual service, if you can save those for an email and send that email after the service. We like to use the chat feature. You'll see we use it for milestones, we use it for other parts of the service. So we want to save those forward-looking comments for an email. So again, we welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Danbury, where we welcome all in a spirit of compassion, inquiry, and service. And now Reverend Heather will share our opening words.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Easter Sunday. What a strange Easter morning this is, and I hope for you beautiful in some unexpected ways. My wish for us all is that this is a very unique and oh so atypical Easter that we remember as that Easter of 2020 for years to come. I also hope that this day can be, as I feel it is still meant to be, however you unpack it theologically, a day of renewal, a day when we feel ourselves hit our internal reset buttons and face our individual and collective futures with some small or large bursts of new energy. This is our world. This is our time. This is our congregation. These places we are each creating or viewing this service from are our homes, our dwelling places, and at times can feel like our whole individual worlds right now. Still, we are blessed to be alive today and hopefully feeling well. We are blessed to be in our homes and able to connect with one another, albeit in this new internet-based frontier to which we are all becoming so much more accustomed. We cannot see what the future holds, but we can move into each new hour with gratitude, with gladness, and with hope. Let us all take a deep breath together this morning and feel ourselves virtually grabbing one another's hands and moving forward together, confident that we've got this, we've got each other's backs, we are holding each other in love as we move forward into this new and uncertain season. Come, let us join in this sacred hour together. Now, may we each find and bring our chalices at home near. Any candle or saucer will do. And take a moment to light your chalice. After a few quiet breaths, we'll say the chalice lighting words together. And you may sometimes hear the pounding of little feet over my head. There are Easter bunnies in my house this morning. romping around. They may occasionally appear, but it's not thunder. It's Easter bunnies. All right. The chalice lighting affirmation words printed there on your order of service. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and justice is its light. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek and speak the truth in love, to help one another and celebrate life. All the children, kids, and youth, as you are willing and able, come forward now so that we can see you first and foremost on our screens. Colin Hood will lead us in the children's affirmation. So please, everyone, join us in lifting your yous up in the air.
We are Unitarian, Universalist. We are people with open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands.
Beautiful, Colin. Before I share this sweet book with you this morning, I want to say, studies show that something like 75% of children's books have a male main character, as with this popular series. I have long mixed up the pronouns of the children's books I read to my two kids, and in the past few years I've been practicing getting more comfortable using they them pronouns, using my children's book time as a time to practice using they them pronouns, which is more and more common amongst friends of Kathy's and mine as their gender pronoun preference. Individuals who identify as non-binary or genderqueer are becoming more and more numerous in our society, families, and communities. And so I thought I would model using they, them pronouns for the main character with you all this morning. Let me show and tell you, it gets easier with practice. So here we are, Franklin's Neighborhood by Paulette Bourgeois and Brenda Clark. Franklin could count to 10 and back again and say the alphabet without stopping. They liked drawing pictures and they loved show and tell. So when Owl assigned the first project of the year, Franklin was ready. We live in a neighborhood, explained Owl, and our neighborhood is made up of houses and stores and gardens, said Snail. And a hospital, added Badger. Exactly, said Owl. Now, for tomorrow, I want each of you to draw a picture of what you like best about our neighborhood. What do you like best? Asked Franklin. Teacher Owl thought for a moment. The school, they replied. Everyone laughed. When Franklin got home, they hurried into their room. Do you want a snack? Asked their mother. No thanks, said Franklin. I have a project to do. Franklin took out their crayons and some paper. Then they sat down to think. They thought about the ice cream store, then the bicycle trail, and then the soccer field. Franklin sighed. Choosing the best thing about their neighborhood was not going to be so easy. Franklin went to find their mother. Could I have that snack now, please? They asked. I think my brain is hungry. But after 3 fly cookies and 2 glasses of milk, Franklin still hadn't decided what they liked best. Why don't you go for a walk around the neighborhood, suggested their mother. That might help, said Franklin. They got their paper and crayons and off they went. Franklin met Beaver in the meadow. I've finished my project, Beaver announced. I picked the library, and I went there right after school to draw my picture. Franklin thought about story time with Ms. Goose, the librarian. That's a good idea, Franklin said. Maybe that's what I'll draw. They waved goodbye and headed for the library. Franklin was sitting on the library steps when Fox came by. Have you finished your project? Asked Fox. Franklin shook their head. I was going to draw the library, but on the way here I saw the movie theater. I can't make up my mind. I chose the fire station, said Fox. Franklin remembered the time Chief Wolf let them sit in the fire truck. That's a good idea, Franklin said. Maybe that's what I'll draw. They collected their paper and crayons and set off. Franklin was outside the fire station when they saw Moose. Have you finished your project? Asked Moose. No, Franklin sighed. I was going to draw the fire station, but on the way here I saw other places I like just as much. I like the pond best of all, said Moose. Franklin thought about swimming and skating with their friends. That's a good idea, Franklin answered. Maybe that's what I'll draw. They said goodbye and headed for the pond. Franklin was staring at the water when Bear came along. What's the matter? Asked Bear. I can't decide what to draw for my project, said Franklin. I like too many things. My best place is the berry patch, said Bear. Franklin thought about all the times they and Bear had picked berries together. See, said Franklin, another great idea. What about the park? Bear suggested. Franklin thought about playing with their friends on the swings and slide. That's it, declared Franklin. They said goodbye to Bear and hurried off. Franklin's mama found them sitting alone on the teeter-totter. Did the walk help? She asked. Not really, replied Franklin. There are so many great things in our neighborhood. Franklin's mama gave them a hug. Let's go home and talk, she said. I made your favorite supper. Franklin grinned. At least I know what that is. Franklin felt a little better after broccoli soup and fly pie. I'm ready to think again, they said. Then they asked their parents what they liked best about the neighborhood. I like the farmer's market on Saturday mornings, said their mother. Franklin smiled. They loved Farmer Rabbit's sweet peas and Farmer Squirrel's fly brownies. And I like belonging to my chess club, said their father. Franklin agreed. They liked belonging to the chess club too. Then Franklin remembered something. Is it true that Heron is moving, they asked. Heron was the president of the chess club. Yes, it is true, replied Franklin's father. I'm going to miss him very much. This neighborhood won't be the same without him. Franklin nodded. They were going to miss Heron too. Suddenly, Franklin knew what they wanted to draw. I know what I like best, they said. Franklin ran to their room and started working. At school the next day, everyone was excited. It was time to see the projects. Raccoon went first. I drew the river, they said. I drew the forest, said Hawk, and you can see that Beaver drew the library, and Bear drew the berry patch, and Fox drew the fire station. Finally, it was Franklin's turn. They unrolled a huge sheet of paper. It was covered with drawings of almost everyone that Franklin knew. I don't get it, said Beaver. Franklin smiled. I drew my neighbors, they said. That's what I liked best about my neighborhood. It's the people, not the places, that matter to Franklin. And during these strange days when most of us are at home most all of the time, I'm noticing that that message resounds in our lives as well. It's the people, not the places, that actually matter the most. Let us now join in singing with our children.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I do not go, I'm gonna send my light. Everywhere I do not go, I'm gonna send my light. Everywhere I do not go, I'm gonna send my light. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Even when online, I'm gonna let it shine. Even when online, I'm gonna let it shine. Even when online, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Please join now in our time of shared milestones. As Jerry plays music for us, you are invited to type into the chat box those great and personal joys or sorrows that are lifting your heart or especially weighing you down this morning. You might also place a stone in a bowl of water that you have at home, or light a candle as we would do in our fellowship hall together where we gathering in person. Then take a few minutes to scroll through the chat, reading and soaking in what others have posted if you're able to see that. Perhaps making yourself a note about those you'd like to follow up with later.
Now is the time for our offering. In lieu of bringing forward food pantry items at this time, we encourage you and your family, as you're able, to contribute to the Ark for Peace at arkforpeace.org. This is a time for us to look forward with optimism to being together in person again. In this spirit of honestly and enthusiastically charting a course for the future of this congregation, we ask that you give generously today to support the many ministries of this community. The information on your screen, you can see on your screen, will tell you how to write out your check or contribute online, and the address to send your check to. Please join me now in the words of our congregational response, printed in your order of service. In the spirit of compassion and service, we dedicate these, our offerings.
This my excavation into days come round. Everything that happens is from now on. This is pouring rain. This is parent life. I'll keep throwing down to when the money's gone and you're drunk as hell. On your back with your racks and the stacks of your load. In the back and the racks and the stack of your load. In the back with your racks and you're unstacking your load. Well, I've been twisting to the sun, into the moon. I needed to replace. And the fountain in the front yard is rusted out. All my love was down in the frozen ground. There's a black crow sitting across from me. His wiry legs are crossed. He is dangling my keys, even fakes a toss. Whatever could it be that has brought me to this loss? On your back with your racks as the stacks are your load. In the back and the racks and the stack of your load. In the back with your racks, you're unstacking your load. This is not the sound of a new man, or crispy realization. It's the sound of the unlocking and the lift away. Your love will be safe with me. When you're back, when your racks and the stacks are your load. In the back and the racks and the stack of your load. In the back with your racks, you're unstacking your load. In the back with your racks and you're unstacking your load. We're going to join together and sing What Wondrous Love. What a wondrous love is this, oh my soul, oh my soul. What a wondrous love is this, oh my soul. What a wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, of my soul. and takes away the pain of my soul. When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down. When I was sinking down, sinking down. When I was sinking down beneath my sorrow's crown, friend to me gathered around, oh my soul, oh my soul. Friends to me gathered around, oh my soul. To love and to all friends I will sing, I will sing. To love and to all friends I will sing. To love and to all friends who pain and sorrow mend, with thanks unto the end I will sing, I will sing. With thanks until the end I will sing.
Huge thanks to Jerry for all of that music just now, and two wildly different songs with, I feel, such important messages, and we need that music to feed our souls right now in so many ways. Good morning again, and happy Easter. This certainly is an odd Easter morning, one which we are making our way through in new and sometimes clumsy ways. We're all figuring out different aspects of this. Easter itself has always been awkward within contemporary Unitarian Universalism. Awkward because we seek to respect the panoply of world religions. And while there is clearly the predominant Christian understanding of Easter as the day many celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ, the word Easter also holds complex ambiguity within it. The very word comes from the pagan goddess Istra, goddess of fertility, and is one of many indications that there were celebrations of spring, renewal, and rebirth that predated the Christian story, and which Christian church leaders at the time were deliberately striving to co-opt and suppress. So here we are in 2020, Unitarian Universalists with a spectrum of specific theological beliefs, still living out our historic Protestantism, even as we continue developing into a broader and more inclusive faith. Always a little awkward at the end of this Holy Week as we strive to honor and respect the Christian story, its pagan precedents, and its Jewish roots, and this time of Passover as well. There is much to hold and reflect upon. And then this year, we are not even able to come together in person as we might otherwise. In prior years, we might be carefully choosing among the Easter traditions of our own lifetimes and families. I didn't grow up with an Easter basket appearing outside my bedroom door, as we strive now to do for our children, and about which our older child has been asking for days. But I did grow up most years putting on a special outfit, going to the First Unitarian Church of Portland with at least my mother, Jan Marie, if not others among my family, singing especially celebratory, joyful, and definitely more Christian than usual songs during a service with extra ebullient music, participating in some kind of egg hunt fun after church, and then journeying to my grandmother's house for brunch, where as the only child and the only grandchild in that particular family unit, there would be colorful eggs hidden in Graham's living room just for me, behind the drapes and in the folds of the recliner. Instead, this morning, this year, we've been told by our state's governor to continue staying at home, to continue doing the opposite of all the things we might normally do on Easter Sunday in order to protect ourselves and one another from the spread of this coronavirus. There is an online Easter egg hunt this year that any and all of you can participate in of all ages. Go to the religious education pages of our UU Danbury website, and when you find the Easter egg, click on it. It will take you to the next UU congregation participating in this online egg hunt. Or see the short link that Chris has posted in the chat. That's the short link right there. You can copy and paste it or type it in, whatever, to your browser to look at later. There's lots more information when you go to that link. This is a national Unitarian Universalist congregational effort to make an online Easter egg hunt happen that sends us joyfully bouncing around the country from our computers or our devices from one UU congregation to the next. It is so cool what innovations and collaborations are happening during this time. And special this year, because of the format of this egg hunt, all ages can participate in this hunt, and there are unlimited eggs to find. Chocolate you have to provide yourself, though. Sorry about that. Weeks ago, some among my Unitarian Universalist colleagues online began discussing what to do about Easter, and pondering, among other things, if there isn't something particularly evocative this year about all our empty gathering places, our societies, our meeting houses, our halls, our congregations, our communities. Is our empty church like the empty tomb? One minister wondered. And I've been thinking about that ever since, about how precious this lovely, light-filled, multi-purpose hall of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Danbury is in the life of this community. Though the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Danbury, now located on Clapboard Ridge Road, is certainly not the congregation's first home, it is now the one most of us think of as UUCD. In fact, this congregation is celebrating its 198th year of existence this year of 2020. And you could say that this is the third, the fourth, or the fifth physical home of this community, depending on how you organize its winding history, at times temporary, at times merging with other congregations, and at times evolving in place. But today, this Easter Sunday of 2020, the Fellowship Hall of UUCD sits empty. If someone were to walk or drive there and peer in the glass windows or doors, they would not find anyone setting things up there or moving around inside. They would find an empty hall. It reminds me of the childhood hand game. Here's the church and here's the steeple. But look inside. Where are all the people? What does it mean that our hall, the location of our spiritual home, sits empty today? This week, I have been looking at pictures of the tomb of Christ as it is now, built up around and overhead with all kinds of sacred architecture, ornately different today than it would have been thousands of years ago. But what the empty tomb that we talk about on Easter morning really conjures up when I imagine it as it once was, is the story of Mary Magdalene and others going to visit and tend the tomb of their beloved teacher and finding that ordinary tomb empty, the stone rolled away. I think my favorite of the various versions of this ancient story is in the Gospel of John, in which it is written, in parts I have excerpted and oh so slightly paraphrased here. Early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb and saw that the stone had been removed. She ran and went to some of the disciples and said to them, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we do not know where they have laid him." Then Peter and another disciple set out and went toward the tomb. They went into the tomb and saw the linen wrappings lying there. Then the disciples returned to their homes, but Mary stood weeping outside the tomb. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb, and she saw two angels in white sitting where the body of Jesus had been lying, one at the head and the other at his feet. They said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "They have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him." When she had said this, she turned around and saw someone standing there nearby. He said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you looking for?" Supposing him to be the gardener of the area, she said to him, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away." The man, whom she had not recognized to be Jesus, said to her, "Mary." She turned and said to him in Hebrew, "Rabboni," which means teacher. That is my close to literal reading of the book of John, chapter 20, verses 1 through 16. I love in this book of John version how Mary Magdalene assumes the person talking to her is a gardener, a landscaper, a groundskeeper, you could say. How unusually conscious I have been these past days and weeks, and perhaps you as well, as I have walked around my neighborhood, conscious of each person I have walked by, of being at least 6 feet away, and noticing if they seemed, for any reason, particularly vulnerable, particularly at risk. Who will be claimed by the coronavirus in our communities, who I haven't yet gotten to know, who we haven't yet gotten to know? In whom is the sacred breath of life most precarious right now? I think that question weighs on all our hearts. As I walk around our neighborhood, I think too about Franklin from the children's book I read earlier. Franklin considering each beloved place in his neighborhood, or in their neighborhood, trying to answer for their schoolwork, which they're working on from home, like so many of our children, the surprisingly challenging question, which place is their favorite? Then Franklin realizes that for them, at least, our most precious connections are with each other. Our favorite things about where we live are not concrete places, but the people who inhabit them, who we have met there, who we have formed abiding relationships with. This strange time of quarantining at home with my young children while continuing to serve 2 Connecticut congregations has been feeling so significant and different from anything else we have all experienced together that I have already begun thinking of things as pre and post COVID-19. Post-COVID, however transformed that future will look whenever we someday get there. The gorgeous song that Jerry sang earlier by Bon Iver has lines in it that have been rising up in my spirit from when I first heard the song almost a decade ago now. This my excavation, and today is Qumran. Everything that happens is from now on. Bon Iver's reference to Qumran here refers to the remarkable, transformative discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls in the Qumran caves of the West Bank in the Middle East between the years of 1947 through 1956. Not so long ago, really. The Dead Sea Scrolls are some of the oldest known surviving manuscripts of the books included in the Hebrew Bible. The discovery of these scrolls completely reoriented much of the thinking, scholarship, and understanding of Jesus's life, gave all new information to scholars and researchers. So for this Easter Sunday, I've been thinking about the events in our era that transform our relationships to one another, our understanding of each other, our sense of where the sacred really abides and what it means to connect with each other, to be beside each other, to have one another's backs, all these physical, proximate phrases that we use that still mean something even in this time of physical distance. It can seem like the grounds of the UUCD property are essential to the congregation's identity, It can seem like 24 Clapboard Ridge Road is our destination, our location, the place where we all gather and with certainty know that our shared decision to come to this place is what binds us together. But actually, COVID-19 is teaching us something new. Actually, we are constantly reminded in these unprecedented times of being a community connecting entirely at a distance. It is actually our relationships, our deep connections with one another that sustain us and that keep this community alive and thriving. This is not the sound of a new person or a crispy realization, not a physical resurrection. It's the sound of a collective internal unlocking and a lifting away of old limitations. Your love will be safe amongst this community. We will press on together into this new era. This year's celebration of Easter is reminding us all across the country, across the planet, across many theological beliefs that what is most sacred is not in that tomb in Jerusalem, is not in our beloved UUC buildings on Clapboard Ridge Road, is not in any central or public gathering place. Our communal wellness, our life spirit, our deep bonds with one another rely right now on the vast majority of us connecting from a physical distance, but definitely not an emotional one. This time is requiring from us something like the Jewish practice of observing sacred rituals at home and carrying them with us in our hearts and minds because we now need to be careful, because we now need to rush towards safety, as in the Passover story. The longtime teachings of Unitarian Universalism include the priesthood of all believers, meaning that you do not need a priest, a rabbi, an imam, or a minister to perform the rituals for you or even to instruct or remind you of their meaning. As we sang in the Passover Seder that Suze Shaner, Nancy Hirschshatter, Sally Mandler, and others among you so wonderfully led for us this past Friday evening, just what we have is enough. Dayenu. Just who we are is enough. Just where we are is enough. Just that we are is enough. Many scientists across the globe have observed that a pandemic like the one we are experiencing now has been a long time coming. Circumstances have been just right for many years for something that feels so wrong. In some ways, we are lucky, most of us, to have been living so unawares of the viral possibilities until now. Again, we are reminded, each day is sacred, and this one, this Easter Sunday in the year 2020 is no different, even with all its surreal differences from prior years. We are blessed to be alive. This year, we once again and in newly significant ways celebrate life and renewal and the daily, hourly rebirth of our and one another's precious, resilient human spirits. We celebrate every moment that we are blessed and lucky enough to keep on keeping on. We practice resurrection in our own daily lives from our own dwelling places. We study this surreal Easter Sunday and grasp onto it as a holy handhold for hoisting ourselves up and out of the tomb of gloom we can all fall into during these times. And we lift ourselves and each other up into the bright light of this new day. This is our time. These are our challenges, our crosses to bear. Let us move forward resolutely together with confidence and with clarity. May it be so. Join me now in taking a few deep breaths, bringing this determined energy into your heart. Let us co-create now time for silence, for stillness within our own minds and hearts and bodies. Let us pause to listen to the rustling sounds around and within us, and to take these sacred moments to not do anything at all. Adjust your position so that you can lean back into your chair or bed, or settle more fully into the floor or against the wall behind you. Notice the structure around you that is holding you up, keeping you safe, bringing you comfort these days, day after day. Breathe in and out very slowly, intentionally slowing down and elongating your breath. Take these moments to listen solely to the rhythm of your breath, your heart, your body, relaxing into this precious moment. Let this communally held silence be a sanctuary that you can return to whenever you need. Soon we will join in singing Spirit of Life, and then we will gradually return to the wider world with all its current clamor. As you make this transition along with me and with Jerry, try to bring something of this more still, quieter world with you. Carry this sense of calm close to you, like a precious candle, like a precious gem, or like a candle that you would carry around with you if it was your only light at nighttime. And remember to give yourself permission to return to this sanctuary of stillness whenever you need.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the land, giving the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Let us each extinguish our chalices now, and then join in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world until we are together again. And now let us join in singing along with Jerry number 61, Lo, the Earth Awakes Again.
The earth awakes again, hallelujah. From the winter's bond and pain. Hallelujah. Bring we leaf and flower and spray. Hallelujah. To adorn this happy day. Hallelujah. Once again the word comes true. Hallelujah. All the earth shall be made new. Hallelujah. Now the dark old days are o'er. Hallelujah. Spring and gladness are before. Hallelujah. Change then mourning into praise. Hallelujah. All for dirges and hymns raise. Hallelujah. How our spirits soar and sing. Hallelujah. How our hearts leap with the spring. Hallelujah.
Please stay to enjoy the postlude and then stay with us for our virtual fellowship time, connecting more individually through the chat. Look for virtual fellowship time instructions on your screen in a few moments. Stay as long as you are able. The Zoom room will be open for about 15 minutes. Then reach out and call someone in the congregation this afternoon. Maybe the 2 people before and after your last name in the UUCD directory. Go join in the online Easter egg hunt. Write down what you want to be your daily and hourly reminders and encouraging notes to self, and post them around your house. Hide them like your own personal Easter egg hunt to surprise and amuse you with the words you need to hear. Take the time to make a sacred place in and of your dwelling place, if you haven't already done so during these sometimes long days at home. Let us know how you are doing and what is helping to lift your spirit during these difficult times. You are a strong and loving people. Here we go into this new day together. Thank you for being with us this morning, and we look forward to continuing to connect in whatever ways work for you. Most importantly of all, go forth into this week knowing that you are held in love, nourished by the peace that you felt here, and may we all still and always work together towards a more just world.